It's the curse of the right-hand side at Man United, isn't it? Who is worse? Can we get any more flops on that right wing at Manchester United? It has been the troublesome position for the Reds for years now. No matter how much money we spend, and we've spent a lot, we just cannot rectify that issue or make anything work down our attacking right-hand side. It is an absolute nightmare. We're getting into the loanee players and what we've actually got at the football club, namely the big costly two that the club do not want. Wow, 2 record signings for this football club that are not welcomed by anyone at the football club, it would seem. Isolation for Antony, Sancho being absolutely slaughtered over in Germany. We told you so, didn't we? All right, making them funny videos now, Dortmund, about Sancho and how he was mistreated at United. How do you like your numbers now? Sancho failing at Dortmund. What happens to these players when they come back to Manchester United? And what happens if we do not get any suitors or offers for these 2 players? What's the circumstances then, and how do Ineos approach it? It is live. Welcome along to Forever United TV, everybody. I'm Adam, and we are talking all United news right now. We've got other news to bring in, as well as the situation that's going on with Antony and Sancho right now. I wanted to talk about these 2 in particular a little bit more, though, and get into a little bit more detail and get your input on it. I think the only way we can start this is with a straight out poll. There you go. Simple. Who's the biggest flop? It's Antony or it's Sancho. Actually, when you're thinking about this and you're naming the biggest flop, who would you rather play for you right now? Which type of player would you want? Would you want someone who cannot give one flying F, or do you want someone that's just going to work as hard as he possibly can but actually provide nothing because he just isn't good enough and we wasted a lot of money on him? Well, we wasted money on both players, to be honest, but I think it's more in terms of what would you accept right now in the circumstances? What's the lesser evil? Get into the poll and obviously get into the chat. Let me know what your thoughts are. I've got some interesting reading to do and some interesting stories regarding what's happening with Sancho right now, and obviously the news today about Antony. I want to talk about possible managerial appointments and what Ineos are lining up, Nagelsmann being one of them as well. It's live. Get into the comments. If you are watching later, after the live show, get your comments in as well. Let me know who you think is the biggest flop out of Sancho and Jadon Sancho. Who do you want more at the club right now? Who would you take in this team right now ahead of what we've got, i.e. Rashford? It's sadly not the best options for you guys to pick from, but hey, let's look at it this way. The season is drawing to a close, slowly dragging its heels, and then everything will be rectified according to Ineos and Sir Jim. Let's go! Give the video a like and please do subscribe as well, guys, if you are tuning in for the first time. So, where are we at with what has happened today? Well, this afternoon, it broke from a load of media sources about Antony being available. Manchester United will look at offers for Antony this summer. Well, no shit we will, because he is not worth it and needs to go. If we can get anything for him, you take it and you move on. You draw a line under it, you wipe the slate clean, do whatever you need to do to make yourself feel better, United, and get things sorted. Get everything in place so we can move on in the summer and start next season with the right type of player. We're not going to discuss who to bring in. We want to discuss how and why this has gone wrong with Antony. This is this type of video and debate tonight. I want to know why it's not worked for Antony. What are his attributes? He set off like a steam train, didn't he? Remember the old leopard celebration? I actually interviewed Antony and asked him about that celebration. I interviewed Antony when he was pretty much at the height of what was going on at United. The Carabao Cup final was on the horizon. He was playing okay. He'd actually contributed quite a little bit. He had them great moments with his goals. Fantastic goal on the winner against Barcelona, which set up the next tie for us in the Europa League last season. He had some big moments last season. Is it just a case of second season syndrome with Antony? That's the one, and that is the issue with a lot of foreign players when they come to the Premier League. It's like, boom, wow, what have we got here? We have got an absolute humdinger of a player here, an absolute world-class superstar, one for the future. And then the second season comes around and you're like, oh my God, here we go again. It literally happens to every single United player, barring the minor few which have got the quality to carry on and actually become something at Manchester United. We right now are in a serious predicament at this football club with what we have got. I don't know. Honestly, it's like I asked Kaz before, who would she take? She just said, look, Sancho can't be asked, and Antony at least will work hard. That's what we've got to look at. That's what it's come down to. It's come down to Antony actually wanting to run, being the reason we'd keep him over someone who has got talent in Sancho. Again, very similar to Rashford. Two from the same pod, them two. They just can't be asked. They think that they're being hard treated. You know what? If Sancho had anything about him and he wanted to put the wrongs right, he would be knuckling down and getting on with things in Germany. But reports from Germany, and you can see it there at the bottom of your screen, that, I mean, the MEM have jumped on this as well, reporting from a few sources. I think the Mail Sport reported it first, but it came from the German media saying the game against Hoffenheim this weekend, Dortmund lost 3-2, and Jadon Sancho was the worst player on the pitch. The report goes on to say that Borussia Dortmund fans were in euphoria at the signing. The prodigal son had returned. Those were the headlines. You've seen the videos. I'm back. Everything lauded up. We can see that Jadon Sancho wasn't treated right at United. That came from Dortmund and the president. It was quite clear. 2 assists in 2 games. Tried to steal a penalty off Dortmund's striker, their main striker, but wasn't allowed to. Wanted the headlines again. It was all about him. And then after that moment, Jadon Sancho has just been on the massive decline, offering 0 assists and 0 goals in his last 5 games. Substituted off against Hoffenheim after 75 minutes and rated the worst player on the pitch. Here we go again. Loanee players from Manchester United covering themselves in 0 glory, giving the club absolutely no chance whatsoever of moving him on or making themselves look appealing to any future move away from the football club. Both of these players apparently will not come back to Manchester United. Antony, is already there. We're talking other players like Palestra, Donny, Sancho, everyone who's on loan, Hannibal. Apparently, none of them will be returning to Manchester United. That's the story. Well, that's a lie. So the reporter's talking about that today. That's a clear lie because they have to come back. Now, in what aspect? Because the pre-season tour, I think, is going to be the biggest decider in this one. So Manchester United, we talked this morning, we talked on several videos about how Ineos are going to approach things and how it's going to be different at the football club. But what you have to look at as well is the pre-season tour is the real decider in terms of players that are sort of on the peripheral or looking like they're going to go. Not quite favourable with the manager. If they go on the pre-season tour, then you feel like they've got half a chance. If they don't, that's the biggest indicator that is it. They are out of the door. See you later. No thank you. I feel like that is going to happen this summer. I think especially if Ten Hag is in charge. Quite clearly, the players that have gone out on loan, he does not like and will not use. So the futures of, let's say, Donny van der Beek, Palestra, Sancho, Hannibal, them 4 in particular, they are surplus to requirements and will not play again for Manchester United as long as Erik Ten Hag is the manager. We know that for certain. If things change managerially, will anyone look at Palestra? Will anyone look at Donny? Let's not even talk about Donny. That's a lost cause. It really is. Sad to say. I feel sorry for him, but he is. He's a lost cause completely. I don't think he'll get another club. He will get another club, but I don't think it's going to be anywhere near the level of what he actually thinks he's at. I think he probably belongs back in the Eredivisie. And maybe try and sell him back to Ajax and make ourselves look like fools again for what we actually paid for him. What will we get? About 5 million for him, maybe. Palestri holds value. Hannibal might. Another player who has seen his ass over in Spain at Sevilla. Not good news there either. Like, what is wrong with these players? All this shows you is that Manchester United's players are mollycoddled. They are wrapped up in cotton wool. They are looked after. They are pampered. It is the summer camp syndrome for Manchester United. As soon as they step out of that door and they go, oh my God, what's this? It's the real world, guys, when you have to really fight for your place and you're not looked after like you're eating 5-star, superstar, mega bucks, millionaire player, which you are clearly not. Manchester United create these monsters. We are the reason these players are the way they are. That's the reality of it, because we're the ones who give them what they want. We're the ones who let them walk around like they're bleeding God's gift. And I've seen it up close and personal. Jadon Sancho won't give you the time of day. Marcus Rashford walks past you like you're a piece of shit on the side of the road when you're in a mixed zone. He does not want to know. And we laud these players up at Manchester United like they are something else, like they are the best thing since sliced bread. And it's our fault. It's the club's fault that they are the way they are. Because rewarding mediocrity is the reason why Manchester United are in this absolute nightmare of a situation right now. We are looking at what? It is, £160 million worth, maybe. When you add Palestri to it, you're looking near enough £180 million worth of talent that we have bought for that right wing that Erik ten Hag does not want to know. You could add Ahmad to that, and that's over £200 million the club has spent, which you probably won't be able to get anywhere near half of back when you sell these players. That is the United of old. Clean slate Ineos, they'll probably take that loss and go, right, we're working with what we've got here now. And this is United, and we'll concentrate on what happens on the pitch and not the balance sheet. It's embarrassing. It really is. And I'm not surprised that every single loanee player has completely failed. The only one who's actually having a bit of success right now is either an academy player or actually Greenwood is an academy player, or someone who's made a mistake, who's trying to rekindle his career or really having to go above and beyond to actually make a point, which is Greenwood's situation. Palestri, I think he's doing okay at Granada. Nothing major. Had a great game against Barcelona. Alvaro, another academy player, doing well. Anyone who is substantial or was bought in for a lot of money and given the world, forget it. Absolutely forget it. It's just beyond what Manchester United did, and all of these players have just fed into it and took full advantage. You only have to look at Martial's time on loan last season as well. I mean, dear God, embarrassing. Like, seriously embarrassing. It really is a sticky situation that United have got themselves in right now, because you look at Antony, I don't know who will buy him. Where does he fit in? Where does he go? Where does Antony go? Who buys Antony for what price? I don't think there is. I don't think there is a price for Antony. Honestly, again, he falls into the Donny van de Beek category in terms of how much we're going to lose on it. But are we bothered right now? No. We have to look at it and go, we just take the losses. Take the losses and move forward. That's everything. Jadon Sancho is the single biggest flop Manchester United have brought in for more than one reason. Now, I've had plenty of people argue against me regarding Sancho and what happened in the summer. Now, there is more to the story with Sancho in the summer, but, I mean, what I can do is, and people said to me, look, I've had two people now come up to me, and do you know what? Valid arguments. They've both said the same thing, and they were backing Sancho over Ten Hag. I think it's just because they don't like Ten Hag at the end of the day, and they think he's wrong for the club. So any chance to actually have a pop at a situation that Ten Hag has got himself involved in, I feel like that is where they are going with it. Although it wasn't quite exactly how it was put down with Sancho in pre-season, and what happened with Ten Hag and the fallout, that's between them. But let's look at the facts. Sancho was crap. He was crap on the pitch. People said he was playing well in pre-season. Yeah, so was Pereira every single pre-season. We actually named him pre-season Pirlo because all he did was absolutely blow it out the park in pre-season, and then as soon as the chips were down and we needed that player to step up, he wasn't good enough for United in the Premier League. He is a very, very good player, Pereira, and he belongs where he is, a mid-table Premier League player, like a lot of United players are. At best, that is as well. So, Jadon Sancho, when you just put it down to the football, what was he doing? What was Jadon Sancho doing? Was he doing enough to actually warrant a place in the side? I have sat there at Old Trafford, as you guys know, and away from home, and I have seen Manchester United fans absolutely slaughtering Jadon Sancho for his piss-poor performances on the pitch. Lackluster, lazy, weak, not strong enough, does absolutely nothing. Yeah, there is skill and a player there, but we're seeing again right now that when he hasn't got everything put on a plate perfectly for him, it doesn't work for him. it doesn't work for him. He literally needs everything setting up, ideally, and if he hasn't got that, like a Haaland striker or someone he can just put the ball in the box to and know he's going to make something of it. His numbers pretty much were made by Haaland and his fantastic record at Dortmund as well. I'm not saying Jadon Sancho was poor at Dortmund in his first spell. He was very good, but like we've seen with many Bundesliga players come to England, they've struggled, especially the ones that bleeding come to United. I mean, Kagawa, Mkhitaryan, Sancho. God, I think we should just give up buying players from Dortmund, to be honest, because they just don't work, do they? It's as simple as that. And now Manchester United have to deal with the aftermath of Murtaugh's and Woodward's absolute blunders. And good luck to Ineos this summer. It's not going to be easy, but hey, let's hope that they are going to approach it differently. I'm going to get into the chat now. I've talked for long enough on that situation there. Let's check where the actual poll is right now. Plenty of people voting, and at the moment we're going Sancho at 57% as the biggest flop out of Manchester United's expensive right wingers. Yep, I think I would go with that. Right now, if you're looking at it and you're going, who would I want in my team? Who do I want playing for me right now? I'll go with the guy that's giving us a little bit more effort in Antony. That's what I would do. I think Antony will work for you at least anyway and give you something. I think he's better defensively as well. He's miles better defensively than what Marcus Rashford is. So why not play Antony on the left-hand side, see what he can do in his natural position, on his foot, on his stronger foot, and play Garnacho on the right. And when Højlund's fit, maybe play him. Make something of the rest of the season. At least you know you're going to get the work rate. That's what it is. And maybe Antony can cross a ball from the left-hand side. And maybe Højlund can take advantage of that. And you know you're going to get the work rate in defensive part of his game back anyway. Not like Rashford moping around like he was against Fulham at weekend. So that's where I'm at with it. Keep voting on that, guys. Now get your comments in and give me some more detail on where you're at with both of these players. Let's get into some juicy, big comments here. Simon says, Rashford and Sancho, two biggest rats at United. They need to be sold this summer, but will they be? Prob not. I think Sancho, I'm pretty confident he's going. Do you know what? Half the time, this is like, you forget about the football and just hope that Ten Hag survives just so you can get rid of these players, because the only way that Sancho survives at Manchester United is if Ten Hag gets sacked. So if he is sacked before the end of the season, we're going to be stuck with this guy again. And it goes around again. The cycle restarts itself. So realistically, do we need one big summer with Ineos and Ten Hag? And we may suffer because Ten Hag might not be able to get anything out of the squad again like he hasn't this season. But at least we are doing the dirty work and the nitty-gritty, which is getting out these absolute waste of space players who do not want to work for the team and do not want to put the effort in. Newbies Kubi says, we could save a lot of money if United act fast and sign Edon Shagrova, sorry. Actually, and Rooney Barahi. No idea, mate. I don't even know where they play. Excuse me for not knowing, but yeah, let me know where they actually play or what league they play in. I never actually said the name right. Adrian, what do you think Antony is worth and what can we get for him? 20 million. That's what I think we can get for him, Adrian. Kestra, Sancho and Rashford both throwing their football career away through ego and lack of professionalism. True. Facts. There must be a Winslow Road in Dortmund. Ian says, only players safe are Mainu, Højlund and Garnacho. The rest can go for me. Martinez, Ian, maybe. I'm confused about the summer. 1 minute we are going to have a good summer. Next minute someone says we are going to have a bad summer. You don't know what to believe, says Jim. Jim, I fully believe we're going to spend quite a bit of money and can spend a bit of money. I don't believe the people that says we are restricted by financial fair play. We obviously have seen the figures. The financial experts have said that United, with the rules of financial fair play and PSR, can spend money. So we will. I think the biggest question is the one that we're posing tonight, Jim, which is, can Manchester United get rid of the nightmare players? And I call them the nightmare players because they came in a lot of money, they were on a massive wage, and nobody wants them because they're not worth that. Are United willing to take the hit? That's the question. Henry says, "Hi Adam, we have not a hope in hell of selling any of these players because of the wages they are on." Just been saying that. They will run their contracts out. If you were a director of football, Adam, what would you do? I would speak to Ineos and I would see how much it would cost to terminate the contracts and get them out of the football club. That's what I would do. Take the loss. Take the loss and rebuild. Act like a big club. Act like a big club. If they can't be moved on, save on the money. And you're not really saving on the money because you're having to terminate and pay them out. But honestly, I think with Donny, I would just offer both players on a free transfer. That's what I would do. Someone can come in and take them for free if you want them. There you go. Take them away. And United save the wages. If worst case scenario came about, I think you can grab 50 million for the pair of them. That's what I honestly think right now. Sancho performing the way he is in Germany, he is not adding any value to his price tag at all. I didn't believe it when people were saying when the deal was made that it's best for both parties. It's not. It really isn't, because United are still going to be stuck with him by the end of the season because Dortmund can't afford him for one. And you have to rely on Sancho actually pulling his finger out and doing a bit on the pitch, which he hasn't done really for 2 years, going on 3 years now. And that's the only way that he would actually inflate his price. Still not going to happen. I'm sorry. Trevor says, Palestri, Donny, Sancho, Hannibal, Alvarez, Williams, all surplus to requirements and not United level. Alvarez? Trevor? Fill me in. Everyone is twerking for Jim and Ineos now, but nothing going to happen. The same rotten court will be here next season. I differ, Reggie. I don't think it will. I think there will be a few of them gone this time. I think that it will be different. I do believe that. Adrian isn't worth a Barclays bank, mate. Gehan says, Spurs wanted Sancho. We need to keep Palestra. He's so good. The manager hates him but keeps playing crap Bruno and Rashford. Stop making it personal. Be professional. Bring back Angel Gomez, says Ian. Angel Gomez, sorry. Angel, God. Footballer doing a proper job for a week. Make a good TV show. Yeah, that one is. Will Chan, Adam, don't be shocked if Murto somehow re-signs Tony Martial this summer. Either Joel or Graham loves him. Joel loves him. Or Avram, sorry, not Graham. God, Graham doesn't love him. Graham thinks he's a waste of time as well. We have a new member in the house, which is Ian Elkins. Ian, you have been around for a while. Subscribe to the channel. Now in with the membership club as well, my friend. Gifted by the Honest Tiger. Make sure you give him a pat on the back and say thank you. Trisham says, you cannot take the loss anymore. Antony's value is 54 million. Sancho, 30 million. And every pound less, it's minus from the transfer budget. We can take the loss, Trisham. You have to do things like this because we've ballsed up. We are not run like a normal football club. We will be, but right now we have to cut our cloth according and just take the losses what we can. Antony is never bringing 54 million in. Sancho, you may scrape 30 million for him. But Antony, no, I'm sorry. You're not going to get that for him. There's not a chance in hell. Antony's probably worth about 25, 30 max for anyone right now. You take that money, you reinvest it into the squad for the right player on the right wage structure and show the rest of this Manchester United team that it doesn't matter about price tag. It doesn't matter about how much you actually were brought in and what you're on at the football club. The old United for the last 10 years is finished, and that sets the precedent. That is pretty much how everyone then will be looking at it. The biggest thing United can do this summer, if they want to change the culture at this football club within the playing staff, is sell Marcus Rashford. It's as simple as that. He is the big one. He's the one that tells everybody we are changing. That is the ultimate right there. Sancho, Antony, we know the problems and they're easy to get rid of. Greenwood, issues when he goes, yeah, it's expected. All of them are expected because they just are not good enough. The pin-up boy, the one the main man, the one that has caused us endless problems this season, while all the chips have been down, the most senior player at this football club has down tools for the manager. He is the one that sets everything in motion. He is the ringleader in all of this, and it's been proven this season by him. Now he's got his big contracts. I backed this man for years. Backed him against Martial. Backed him against anyone who was saying that he isn't as good as what everyone is making out. He had the potential and the qualities to be a world-class player. He never, ever looked like taking it there over the last few years. Last year I thought, you know what, vindicated. This is it. The turning point. All of this. This was the moment. If Manchester United sell Marcus Rashford this summer, this football club will turn around. This football club, it will automatically set in motion all of the standards that Manchester United need to keep and need to get back to by selling Marcus Rashford. We can talk about Antony, Sancho, Donny, all of these mediocre players. And I know, and the realistic hat on tells me that we're not going to be able to because of all of them players that I've spoken about. And they're being too much to sort out and deal with this summer. But if they did, that would be it. That is your ultimate. You take out the head of the dragon. That's what you do. And that will ultimately put Manchester United on the track to success again. I'm convinced of it. It's my opinion. And it's my opinion alone. You guys may agree, you may not. But that, from what I watch, week in, week out, the man's body language is one of petulant schoolboy who hasn't been picked for the favourite team. That's what he walks around the pitch like. Forget about Antony, Sancho, all of the players we know are not good enough. There is one that has been lauded up to be the best that isn't the best, and that's Marcus Rashford. He's the one that needs to go this summer. And some will probably bring back clips of me saying that Marcus Rashford is the future of this football club. I believed in it. I believed that Marcus Rashford was the future of this football club. I'm not going to hide away from that. But right now, all of this talk of all the other players is irrelevant unless you cut the head off. And that is Rashford for me. That is it. That's the ultimate. Sancho is actually banking on Ten Hag getting the sack. Pathetic, says Will. Probably is, actually. Mr. Miracle. Ten Hag needs to stop playing Hunko attack. Mainu is super slow. He struggles getting back when we lose the ball, leaving only one midfielder defending. Our defence is also so slow to run up and down. Fitness levels have been called into question as well with Manchester United over this season and more. It's like we don't seem to be fit enough because we're actually busting a gut in training. I think there's something wrong in training right now for me. United Spotlight. Sancho's finished. He will end up just playing for a mid-table team. Just a total waste of career and talent. 100%. Ian Jackson, Slabhead and Casper, the Scooby-Doo Ghost McTominay got to be high on that list. Yeah, they can do a job as a squad player, but they have value and we need money. We have got money. We have got plenty of money with Sir Jim Radcliffe, and United, even with their revenues right now without Sir Jim Radcliffe, we can spend. Can we spend it properly though? That is the killer question. I feel like I am not worried about what we bring in now. I feel like it will be the right player. It's just going to take time moving all of the crap out of the way to bring in the better players. That's the big worry. That's the issue in this. Sancho, Antony, these sorts of players. I'd rather have Ahmad and Palestre there as squad players and bring in one absolute right-winged player. You could have Garnacho there and go out for a left winger. Garnacho on the right, go all out for the left wing. You've got Ahmad and Palestre to come in and cover and play alongside Garnacho on that side. I think he can hold down that right-hand side. Another striker, another left winger, another left back, two centre-backs, centre midfielder, another right back, another goalkeeper, another coach, another manager. I know it spirals, doesn't it? You can't help but feel like you're going to pinpoint an area, and then you'll watch a game and you'll look at a player and he'll go, Jesus, we need that position as well, don't we? That's what we need. God, it is painful. It is painful, I know. And we'll just do the rounds talking about it. For anyone actually coming in and saying on videos as well, by the way, I just wanted to point this out. It's like, how do you know? Why do you think you're right? I don't think I'm right, but I think we need to talk about it. At the end of the day, this is a fan channel. We are fans. We support our club, and we want to talk about what's going on about it. We're giving our opinions on everything, and the main part of the show, yeah, it is my opinion, and it is me talking about what I think and what I've experienced. I've been privileged to be a season ticket holder for so long and go behind the scenes, be at Carrington at United, in press conferences with Ten Hag, meeting players, interviewing players actually that are actually at this football club right now. You get to see a lot. You get to see how Manchester United is run, and you can tell just by being there that it is not right. It isn't. It's like, for instance, an example of this is we're doing the tour in America again this year, the club. When you go over to America there, they are flabbergasted. Absolutely blown away. This is the US media, by the way, which are massive on United. As you know, we have a absolutely humongous fan base over in the States, in all different parts of North America and South America and Mexico, everywhere. Canada as well. The fan base in Canada is ginormous. You know, I've had Tim on the show here from the Niagara Reds fan club as well. When you go over there and you deal with the media in the USA, and you've seen, if you watch NFL, if you watch the NBA, Major League Baseball, even National Hockey League and everything like that over in America, the access that you get, the appreciation from the players, and these guys are bigger superstars than what any Premier League player is. We know this. They'll just gladly come over, talk to you. It's completely the protection that Premier League players in particular have got around the world. And I know that they're targeted by certain people, idiots, but the security is enough in these venues to stop anything like that happening. There's no reason why a player can't walk past someone in the mix zone and just let on and say, no, sorry, I've been told that I cannot speak today, or I've already done my media duties, just to let on. You know what I mean? But they don't. All they do is just walk past you and ignore you like you're a piece of shit. And it really is. It just gives you an opinion of a certain player. It does, like their attitude. And it's like, you just played absolute dog shit, mate. I won't mention the person who said it, but a well-known person who works on MUTV was in the mixed zone in Sevilla after we got smashed by them in the second leg of the Europa League last season. I was just in the mixed zone waiting. We knew we had no chance of speaking to a player because we never get a chance when United lose. It's just like protect the players. But this MUTV presenter came out and went, "Oh my God, Jadon Sancho is shit." Those were his words. He is awful. And these people are paid by the football club to try and be happy, try and big up United, be positive about United. You know what it's like on MUTV. It's all for the club and you expect that. That's just what the channels are. And they do a good job with it. It's a hard job. It must be the hardest job in television, to be honest, trying to be positive about Manchester United. But they know. Everyone at the club knows. I was told the two players that you cannot get near, and this was by a Man United staff member, two players you cannot get anywhere near at this football club, and this was last season, are Jadon Sancho and Marcus Rashford. Yet all of the Brazilian, Portuguese, I've spoken to Casemiro, I've spoken to Antony, Dalot, Bruno Fernandes, all of these players, only too happy to talk. Obviously in certain circumstances when they're allowed to, but the players are allowed to speak to anyone if they want to. They choose not to. That's their decision. Bruno Fernandes, for all his criticism he gets, at least he owns up at the end of it. No United player ever comes over to the media after a defeat, ever. Unless it's the rights holders, whoever's televising the events or the game. No one ever does it. Bruno Fernandes came up to me and spoke to me after the Bayern Munich defeat, the 4-3 in Munich. When not expected, I asked him and he walked over and he held his hands up and said we weren't good enough. That was Bruno Fernandes. That's the guy who is getting all the criticism right now. And a lot of people want him out of the club. It's got nothing to do with the way he plays on the pitch. I know, I'm just letting you guys know what it's like in and around, and why I have certain opinions of certain players, attitude-wise, and the character is a big thing at this football club. You need to be able to hold your head carry yourself a certain way being a United player. And there's so many that just don't. So many that have just took the absolute piss out of where they are and how lucky they are to actually be in this situation. I just needed to say that, just so you guys know. Sorry for going off on one again. I'm going to get back to the chat anyway. I first said in 2019, whilst living in Spain, about Rashford, Maguire, Shaw and Lindelof. Lingard's as well. Lingard's gone, but we still has 3 cancerous cells in the club and in the squad. That being Rashford, Maguire and Shaw. He said Rashford, Maguire and Shaw, not Lindelof, sorry. Rashford, Maguire, Shaw and Lingard were the cancers of this football club, Lloyd says. Malcolm, if we played a high line where our defence is close to midfield and midfield close to the forwards, there would be less gaps for teams to run through us. When we play Maguire, we have to drop deep. Do you know what? We can play Maguire in that high line because that there is where I cannot defend the manager. You talk about playing this attractive, free-flowing, attacking football that Ineos are now wanting to play. You talk about trying that and doing that every single game, Ten Hag. I don't believe you because I watch all the games. I'm at the games. I don't see it. If you want to play like what Malcolm says there, you can. You coach the team to play that way. You have the fullbacks on standby, ready to run back, and you play Onana as a sweeper keeper. Every keeper. You watch Leno's positioning for Fulham. In that game, you watch Martinez for Aston Villa. They play a high line, but their keepers are off the line like a shot. Emerson, Edison, Leno, like I said, for Fulham. Even teams right at the bottom play it better than what Manchester United do. The sweeper keeper. I thought we were bringing Onana in to play this. So that's on Ten Hag. He knew what keeper he was bringing in to play a certain style of football, and we don't play it. We don't play to Onana's strengths. We're on top of him. We're too deep. And I feel United can actually move forward. We can play that high line if we want to. We just choose not to because of the manager and his directions of this team. That, for me, is on Ten Hag, that side of it. I think we can play that. I wonder how many players get injured before the City game. Yeah, this one against Nottingham Forest this week. Oh, God, it's going to be hard, isn't it? Rash is only worth 35 because of his wages. Says Smitter. Malu says we're trying to play a football that we don't have neither quality nor quantity to do. I agree, Adam, says Gabrielle. Let me just drop down. Adam never thinks he's wrong. Does that mean he always thinks he is right? Yeah, I've been put in my place many a times. You know, one thing that I will say, Trev, is that I actually want Antony and Sancho to prove me wrong. The thing is, what I watch, what I pick up, and my opinion of them two is that they won't. Antony won't because now he's not given a chance to. There is a big fallout between him and Erik Ten Hag. Something has drastically gone wrong for him to be behind Ahmad and Amari Forson. That was the biggest tell ever in that game against Fulham this weekend. Guys, I forgot to say, give the video a like again halfway through. And please do download the SofaScore app as well. Bottom right hand corner, QR code. Make sure you drop down in the description if you can't download that QR code. They are our sponsors and our partners on the channel. And the best football app out there, guys. I tell you, every single stream, you need to download it. It is the best. All your team's news, updates on game days, pre-season, everything you need, always there. Adam, any upbeat vibes, mate? Upbeat vibes, Colin? Well, when you've got Nottingham Forest away, hardly any of your best players available or playing well, and then the derby, it's hard, Colin. I will try my best. I'm still recovering from Fulham, mate. I am. I'm not going to try and cover it. I'm not going to try and put a smile on something that doesn't deserve it. It's the realist sort of... I think it's a real week for Manchester United this week. It's like we enjoyed the last few weeks of winning, and it felt good. It really did. And then Højlund got injured, and I felt my whole world crumble a little bit for United, and it proved to be right, sadly. This summer we need to fix our defence and get a forward that can play dual roles up front on the wing and as a second number 9, says Mr. Miracle. Malk says, I cannot take that long. He will never be able to catch up with Liverpool, City, Arsenal did it quicker. Ryan254 says, the club and director of football will choose a style of play. Do you think they'll choose the tiki-taka, hoofball, football type technique? I don't think tiki-taka is Man United's way. I don't think they... Well, I don't know. They might go with that, actually. I'm just saying, I don't think tiki-taka suits United. I don't. Adam, when you were doing interviews, I thought you were excellent. You need to get back to it ASAP. Well, we try. We have got plans as well. Hopefully, I can bring you more on them as we go along. But yeah, there is some news I'm going to be talking about as well later this week as well, guys. More stuff for the channel, more stuff for you guys to get involved in as well. Let's get into a few more questions. Upbeat vibes. The under-18s are tearing it up. Still unbeaten in the league. I love the under-18s. Love the youth team. Love the academy. It is the one shining light of this football club right now. And you know what? It does. It gives you hope, doesn't it? That you have got a bit of a future. But when you see Amari Forson being thrown under the bus like he was at weekend, that's the concern. Hopefully these under-18s, by the time they mature and good enough to actually come forward into the first team, it would have all changed and the culture would have changed around and we would have got rid of the bad eggs within this playing squad. Because I fear for anyone coming through right now. Kobbie Mainoo has worked wonders. Absolute breath of fresh air how he's adapting to this team when it's playing so bad. It's like, it's embarrassing. It really is. It really is embarrassing how Manchester United are relying on an 18-year-old to keep us afloat. It's atrocious. It really is. David Burgess, technically he's brilliant. Oh, talking to someone else, sorry. Everyone's having a bit of a chat. Antony looks and acts like a gangster, not a footballer. Down the wing and cuts it in. Give me a break. It's the Premier League, says Smitter. He's done in here. I think the signs are there. The writing's on the wall for him now. I think Antony, his time at Manchester United is well and truly over. He's dropped down the pecking order. And we know what this means with Ten Hag. When a player starts to disappear from that first team. I mean, Ten Hag was praising him in his first game, where he's actually done something, which was Newport, where he got a goal, he got an assist. A goal and assist, he said, Ten Hag, after the game. That's what we want from him. That's what we expect. Next game, because Golden Balls was available, Rashford, Antony gets dropped. You never know. Antony might have took on from that moment and made something of his season. But again, this is where you cannot defend Erik Ten Hag. Because I feel like I feel like Antony has seen his ass since the Newport game. And this is where Ten Hag has lost control. The Rashford thing is why he needs to be gone. If Ten Hag wants to survive, Rashford needs to go. Rashford and what he did, we talked about it. We wanted to know how Ten Hag was going to handle it. He slapped his wrist and just allowed him to come straight back into the team in place of Antony after his best performance of the season, albeit against a bleeding League 2 side. Yes, I know, but still, Antony actually looked like he was, well, he looked like he was up for it. He was emotional. He got his goal. It might have been that release moment for him, but then he was dropped to the bench because you have to bring in Rashford. People will say, well, Ten Hag was vindicated in that decision because Rashford scored a goal and was involved in the second goal against Wolves, and we won that game. Well, I said Rashford didn't belong in that team and in that lineup against Wolves. I'm still going to stand by that. I think he needed to set a precedent. I think that favouritism tag that Sancho was moaning about, that a few other players from leaks from the football club have been talking about, I think that's come back here with Antony. I feel like that's the problem that Antony has got right now. I think there's been a fallout behind the scenes because of it, and because Rashford has walked right back into the team, having played no better than what Antony has this season, really. when you look at it. Yeah, he's got a couple of numbers and he's had them moments. I think that's why he plays, because he has that moment FC tag about him where he can just do something out of nothing, Rashford, and score a wonderful goal. But I feel like the Antony saga and where we are at now is because of Rashford. That's just my opinion on that. I do believe that that's the case. And I think that's probably what's happened with Jadon Sancho. I think he's probably seen his ass because he was playing well in pre-season, and then Antony walked straight back in the team because he's Ten Hag signing. So he's seen his ass. Rashford just walks into this team whenever he wants because he's got that I'm Mr. Man United, I can't be touched vibe about him. And like I said earlier on in the show, cut the head of the dragon off, if that is the saying. I don't think Graham's in the chat tonight to tell me if that's right. And everything starts to fall into place. Rashford's the key. He is the key to all of this. And I keep going back to that video I did a few months ago about the players that have seen off more managers than anyone else. Luke Shaw, Marcus Rashford. I'm not saying Luke Shaw is the issue, but you look at it and you go, they have seen off every manager that they have played under at Manchester United. Have they outstayed their welcome? That's something for you guys to go away with and comment. Drop them comments in after the video finishes up live. Is Rashford the main cause of the problem? Is Rashford to do with the issue that Antony's having right now? I think he is. The Honest Tiger is in with a chat. He says, if we get a new manager in the summer, he might keep Antony and Mikel Sancho. You never know. That is the scary thing. That is the worry. It's like, do we just let Ten Hag stay a bit longer just so we can rid ourselves of these duck eggs? Is that what we're doing right now? Is that the best way to deal with this? And forget about the football and the style of play and the fact that Ten Hag probably has lost a bit more of this squad than what's been reported. I think he has. I do. We've got players there that will run through brick walls for him. Mainu, Garnacho, Højlund have all been playing the best they've played this season over the last couple of months. And they have been the shining light and got us through this mess, in my opinion. There's been some real letdown performances by a lot of first-team players. And Ten Hag continuously bemoaning the injuries and players being out. He's just going to feed into the minds of these players. And you go in there with a negative outlook. Just get on with it. It doesn't matter who's missing. Just keep the mindset of you're playing for United and you have to win this game. It's as simple as that. It doesn't. It's the excuse factor. And again, that then leads into the player's psyche and their mindset going into the game. Aviator Cameron, too early to say who's more of a flop because we don't know about Antony's future. If he sold for 90 million, which would never happen anyway, he wouldn't be a flop. Mate, I think we can start deciding who is, because we know we're going to take massive losses on both Sancho and Antony. None of them are worth what they are. I used to like Rashford. I also used to like Lewis Hamilton, says Jay. Thanks, Jay. No, sack him, says Michael. I don't know what you're talking to. Who you're talking to or what it's about. I'm guessing it's Ten Hag. United Spotlights. I'm a bit behind on the stream, but everything you say about Rashford is so true. He's exactly what it's. It's exactly what it think change starts with removing him. Things will change once we remove him. Things will start to change, I think, is what he was saying there in the chat. Darryl says, Garnacho not closing down on second Fulham goal made my blood boil. I know, defensively he needs to work a bit. He does work hard in tracking. He just doesn't understand the defensive game for me just yet. They had the ball in their own corner for F's sake, and he just let them out. I know what you mean. Maguire needs to go as well. I think Maguire's time is pretty much clinging on now at Manchester United. I wouldn't say he's completely done. I think there's a player in there. I just feel like we've got to move past Maguire. We do. He is not the answer for Manchester United going forward. Let's just say that. Great show as usual, Adam. Hated adored, never ignored. No, everyone wants a piece of United, Mike. Guys, please give the video a like. Let's get them likes up to 200 before we finish up, guys. We're only 30 away. Everyone get on that like button who is in the chat right now. Really appreciate it, guys. It all goes to helping the channel out. And make sure you do hit that subscribe button if you're tuning in for the first time. It gives you the opportunity to get in the live chat and join the conversation. like Ivan has done here. Hard to blame defensive woes against Fulham against Garnacho. He looks like the only threat to goal. He did. He's the only one who got a decent rating, really, out of most of the media as well, just for his sheer tenacity and work rate. And I said he was awful in the first half, but he came back fighting in the second half and showed a bit of spirit. I mean, that's all we're clinging on to at the moment. We have really fallen, haven't we? Like, we're just actually clinging on to performances of players because they're actually working. Sad state of affairs, isn't it, with what Manchester United's playing staff is right now. It really is. Rashford never tracks back. Honestly, the moment that I was talking about earlier on today with Rashford absolutely infuriated me when he bottled the tackle and then threw his hands up in the air. He gave the ball away as well in the second half and just shrugged his shoulders and threw his hands in the air and ducked his head and tracked back. Go and win the ball back and win some support back from the fan base, Marcus. No, he won't do it. He will not do it. Roddy Johnson says, Adam, love it on here and the 6:30 show. Keep up the good work, pal. Thank you, Roddy. Really appreciate that. Guys, your comments have been amazing this weekend. Sorry I haven't managed to get to all of them from the videos. We now had 200,000 views on the channel this weekend. Absolutely mega weekend for us. And all of your messages, comments, likes and everything all go to helping the channel move forward and bringing you even better content as we go. We've got a jam-packed week ahead, everybody. Live outside 3 more times in the day this week. We've got the Forest game to cover as well. Everything on the match day there, building up to the derby through the rest of the week, and then obviously the dreaded weekend, which is the Manchester derby. And my bit of news before the week regarding the match weekend, guys. So stay tuned for that. But for now, that is it, guys. Thank you for tuning in. Absolutely amazing. We're just about to pass that 200 like mark there as well, guys. Great input tonight. Again, guys, loving the comment section. We got through quite a bit there today. But make sure you let me know. As of this poll, Sancho is the biggest flop. But let me know. Drop your comments in. Give me a bit more detail on why you don't rate Antony or Sancho. Or who is better? Who would you rather play in your team right now if you had to decide? Zane has just come in and spoilt the party with a super chat at the end. I'm only joking, Zane. You should have bought Havertz. Buy of the season. Shut your mouth, Zane. No, he's not. You could have spent that money better elsewhere. Trust me. And you're not winning the league. Even though I hope you do, because I don't want Liverpool or City to win it. But that's it, guys. Thank you. Brilliant stuff, as always. I will see you all in the morning. Or not the morning. I'll see you all at 12 o'clock tomorrow. Enjoy your evening. I think there is football on tonight. What is it? Brentford against West Ham, I think, is the game. Are you interested? Not the most eye-catching one, is it? But hey, the FA Cup's back as well. And I'll see you all then, guys. Like, share and subscribe. I'll see you all tomorrow.